Shireen Powell Okafor, and welcome back to What You Don't See About Me as a Parent. If this is your first time listening, this series is a real, honest look behind the curtain into the parts of parenting a child with autism that don't get talked about. In today's episode, I want to share something that most people will never see. Not even the professionals who were meant to help us. That behind my calm, behind my smile, behind the binder of therapy notes I carried, I was drowning. This episode is called The Challenge Behind My Smile, because what you see from the outside is rarely the full story. Let's go back to the beginning. When your child is diagnosed with autism or any additional need, there is no easing into it. There is no one gentle voice saying, let's take this one step at a time. Instead, it's like an avalanche. One diagnosis unlocks 10 new appointments. 10 new appointments lead to 15 new strategies. And those strategies, they are not optional. They are urgent. Speech therapy says you need to do this every day. OT says add these exercises at mealtime. Psychology says use this behavior plan consistently. Your GP adds another referral. Your early intervention worker emails you links to parenting courses. Your inbox is full. Your calendar is full. And your mind? It's drowning. At one point, I had 3 different professionals giving me 3 completely different instructions in the same week. And none of them had seen my actual child in our real home. It was all based on ticking boxes, reports, and checklists. They didn't see the child who couldn't sleep, the meltdowns at midnight, the skipped meals, the sensory battles, the silence. They didn't see me sitting on the floor, holding her, trying not to cry harder than she was. But still, they handed me another plan, another form, another suggestion. And when I didn't get through it all, it wasn't understanding I received. It was that look. That subtle look. The one that says, are you even trying hard enough? I can still see those binders stocked on the dining table. Blue folders, yellow folders, white envelopes half opened, papers falling out because there wasn't enough room to hold it all. Some mornings I tried to start strong. Today I'll get through it. Today I'll do all the strategies. But by 10 a.m., the PEX cards were all scattered on the floor. My daughter was refusing breakfast, and I was crying into a cold cup of tea. That's the part you don't see in reports. The part no professional comes home to witness. It wasn't laziness. It wasn't a lack of trying. It was the reality of parenting a child who had needs no form could ever fully capture. There is this unspoken thing that happens. You become a kind of superwoman, not because you want to, but because you have no choice. You're handed tools and told to implement. You're praised for being strong. You're amazing, they said. But you don't feel amazing. You feel cornered. I would wake up, prep her food the way she needed it, set up the visual cards, hold myself together during meltdowns, and then sit through 2-hour meetings where people spoke about her as if she wasn't even mine. All the while, there's laundry to be done. There's work to go to. There are other children. There's the part of you that's still just you. But that part, it slowly disappears. Let me tell you about a particular week. Monday, we had OT session. The therapist gave me a full sensory program to follow: brushing, joint compressions, oral motor activities every 2 hours. I left the clinic with a bag of brushes, chewy tubes, and a timetable I couldn't imagine keeping up with. Tuesday, speech and language. Create a communication book, they said. Model every word she might want to say. Peer gestures. Make eye contact. I nodded, even though inside I was thinking, when? Between meals? During meltdowns? At bedtime when I'm exhausted? Wednesday, parent course. Set clear boundaries, they told us. Reward everything positive. Ignore every negative. Easy to say in a classroom with no screaming child pulling at you. Thursday, an online seminar about autism and anxiety. I had my notebook out like a student, highlighting key terms like co-regulation and self-soothing. But when I tried to apply it that evening, my daughter hit her head against the wall because I didn't pour her juice in the right cup. By Friday, I cried in the car park, with the folder still on the passenger seat. Because what no one prepared me for was that information doesn't equal support. You can get the best handouts, the best therapists, the best plans. But if no one sees you, if no one supports you, then the whole system fails. And the cruel part, when you can't do it all, the blame circles back to you. You are made to feel as if you're not doing enough, as if love alone isn't enough. But I was already running on empty. Superwoman on the outside, crumbling mother on the inside. There's a quiet rage that builds, not at your child, never at your child, but at the system, at the silence, at the way everyone talks about intervention and no one talks about impact. I used to walk into meetings where the professionals smile at me like I was doing fine because I knew the lingo. I bought the notes. I nodded. I was polite. But behind closed doors, I was exhausted. I didn't need another form. I needed someone to say, "This is too much. Let's take something off your plate." That never came. So I learned to smile with my teeth and cry in the shower. I learned to keep the schedule while ignoring my own. I learned to fake stability because falling apart wasn't an option. It's a quiet rage that comes when you're told consistency is key, while knowing you haven't had a consistent night of sleep in years. It's the rage of being told to use positive reinforcement when you spent the last 40 minutes scraping food off the wall because dinner was the wrong texture. It's the rage of knowing your child deserves support, but feeling like the only real support they have is you. And still, you smile because smiling is easier than explaining. What still stings to this day is this. In all the professional advice, in all the support plans, not one single person said, "How is your heart? How is your sleep? Do you feel like yourself anymore?" It was always, "Have you tried this strategy? Have you filled this out? Have you considered ABA?" But who was considering me? I had to learn that if I wanted to survive this, not just parent through it, but survive it, then I had to start protecting my energy. I had to stop apologizing for not doing it all. I had to stop trying to prove that I deserved to be listened to because I was already doing more than most people could imagine. I remember once leaving a team meeting, walking straight into the bathroom, locking the stall, and just sobbing. Not because of what they said about my daughter, but because I realized in a room full of 5 professionals, not one had seen me as a person. I was invisible in my own story. If I could go back, I would still accept the help, but I would speak louder. I would say, "I'm grateful, but I'm overwhelmed. I need to be heard too. I am not a one-woman intervention team." I would ask them, what if I can't implement it all? What happens if I fail? What happens if I burn out? Because I nearly did. And yet, I still showed up, still packed lunches, still fought for services, still kept going. That's what you don't see behind my smile. But something shifted when Sinead was nearly 5 years old. The best thing that could ever happen to me. And I really hope that parents will experience this too, because it is so, so important. We were offered a place on an early bird program. This was my second offer because at this point I was overwhelmed. Another parenting course, a 10 weeks parenting course. This is too much. I have all of these strategies I'm looking at that I haven't even gone through a quarter of them as yet. And now another parenting course that's going to give me all more 100 more strategies. I was mad. But I decided to do it. Don't want anyone thinking I'm not going all out for my child. So I went on this early bird course. I thought it would just be another set of handouts, another binder, another set of strategies. But for the first time ever, someone asked me, how are you doing? I froze because no professional had ever asked me that. Not once. And then they visited my home. They didn't just hand me strategies, they showed me how to fold them into our actual life. That was Beach Park, as it was known then. And I will always be grateful for that team, especially David, the play therapist, who stood beside us for more than a decade. From the time Sinead was 4 until she was almost 15, David was there to answer every question I asked. He didn't just see a diagnosis, he saw my child. He saw me. He didn't just hand me instructions, he helped me implement them. He didn't just assume I was coping, he noticed when I wasn't. There were times I thought I couldn't keep going, and David would remind me, let's make this manageable. He gave me permission to be human again. I remember once during a play session when my daughter wouldn't engage. I felt like a failure. But David looked at me and said, she's watching. Even if she doesn't join in, she's learning. It shifted everything. Another time, he came to our house after a particular rough week. I was exhausted. The PEX board was half broken, cards missing. He didn't scold me. He sat down, repaired it with me, and said, this is not about perfection, it's about persistence. That kind of support is priceless. Behind every smile I carried, there were people holding me up. My husband, who would come home from work, see me at my breaking point, and silently hand me the car keys. Go, breathe, I've got this. Sometimes he'll run a candlelit bath, other times he'll just create space for me to cry. My mother, my aunt, my sister, they gave me breaks, moments of rest, time to reset. That's how I kept smiling, not because it was easy, but because I wasn't carrying it alone. My mom would come over from London, cook, clean when I couldn't continue. It's like she knew when it was time to come. My aunt, who'd take the kids out on weekends so I could rest, she was there to support everything. And my sister, who sit with me late into the night and we'll cuddle on the settee and sleep, remind me that I was doing enough. That's what held me. That's what kept me from breaking. So if you're a parent listening to this and you're carrying folders, strategies, tears, questions, and expectations all at once, just know this. You are doing more than enough. You are allowed to rest. You are not a failure if you didn't tick every box. And if no one else says it, I see you. You are not alone. This journey was never meant to be walked alone. And here on this podcast, you don't have to pretend. So find your person, the one that will listen to you, the one that will support you, the one that you can cry on their shoulder. Because that person is the one that will help you to keep your smile. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to what you don't see about me as a parent. Until next time, be gentle with yourself. You are not just surviving, you're showing up with love.